Hey mama, welcome to today's episode. I am so excited. We are going to be talking today about your dream life budget. And I'm going to be sharing with you my dream life budget and the process that I go through every year to kind of analyze where I want to be versus where I am and how you can start living your dream life budget today with no additional income. Yes, it is possible. And I'm excited to share this with you. So I first was inspired to do this exercise by Denise Duffield Thomas in her book, Get Rich Lucky Bee. I have censored myself here in case little ears are listening, but you can get the link below in the show notes. In her book, Denise Duffield Thomas talks about creating a dream life budget every year. So to do this exercise, what you do is I grab my math book and I look at literally nothing. Like I don't look at my exercise from last year. I don't look at my current budget. I don't look at the calendar, nothing. I just sit down with my notebook and a pen and I say, okay, if money was like if I just got an unlimited amount of money, what would I do with it? Like, how would my life look different? What things would I do that I'm not doing now? What subscriptions would I have? What would be my, budget for clothing, or what kind of car would I get, or what kind of vacations would we take? And I sit down and I just take 15 minutes to daydream and brainstorm and write down things that would be cool to financially tackle. And in this exercise, sort of the second piece is after you've done that initial brainstorm, go through and figure out how much these things would cost. Because I think a lot of times we're like, oh, when I hit this certain point in my life, like I'm going to be able to do X, Y, Z. And what we don't always think about is, well, how much does that cost though? And how far are we from that? So Denise Duffield Thomas, I feel like I can never just say Duffield Thomas. Duffield Thomas in her book encourages you to really go through line by line, like after you've done the initial brainstorm, and write down how much that would actually cost you. So doing some Google research and figuring some of these things out. So when I created my dream life budget this year, I included things like in my dream life budget, I would love to have an Audible subscription. I would love to have commercial-free Hulu account. I would love to have a vacation fund to take each of my daughters on vacation each year. I would love to be able to open up a retirement account for both of my girls, toss in a chunk of money and walk away from it, knowing that when they go to retire in however many years, that they will have at least $1 million just in compound interest from a one-time payment from my husband and I. These are things that are on my dream life budget. So after you've gone through and found out how much of each of these things would cost, then add all of the expenses up and see where you land. So when I did this exercise this year, I was actually kind of floored. So I added up all the expenses and then I added like our living expenses, like our mortgage and utilities and groceries and gas and all of those fun things. And I added all of those up and then subtracted our actual average income. My husband's a teacher and I am a small business owner. I have 2 businesses. And so I do sort of like average projections because I can't, until the end of the year, I can't be positive how much I'm going to make because there's so many variables. So I subtracted our actual income, our actual average income from that amount. And guess what? We were $40,000 off. So when I took my dream life budget, subtracted how much we actually make each year, $40,000 was the difference. We were short $40,000 from our dream life budget. Hold on. Okay, when I was a teacher, that would have been a problem because $40,000 was basically how much I was making each year. So that's too much. Like I couldn't work full time and work another full-time job to make up for that 40 grand. I had a fixed income. But now, as a small business mom with 2 businesses that I can leverage, I was like, 40 grand. That sounds like a challenge. Challenge accepted. It seems a little more in reach. Like, not that I can just snap my fingers and have an extra 40 grand, but it gives me an idea of like, okay, 40 grand's not $40 million. Like 40 grand is potentially doable if I, invest in the right things and I take the right steps, the right aligned actions. And if I work toward, it seems like a goal, right? Something that is potentially achievable. So that got me really excited and really fired up. Like, oh my goodness, like I really could make this dream life budget happen. So I encourage you to try this exercise out. Again, I love to set a timer to really kind of force myself to commit to this mental process and not get distracted for 15 minutes or so. Create your dream life budget, itemize everything, find out how much it would cost you, and then see how far off you are. Don't get frustrated by this. Like, it's information. It's understanding kind of where you are versus where you would like to be. And you'll be priming your brain to look for opportunities to bring in additional income if that's what you decide that you want to do. You also, and this is where things get exciting, you also can choose to start implementing these things right now. What do I mean by this? When I was looking at my dream life budget, I wanted commercial-free Hulu. I'm like, well, how much is commercial-free Hulu? You look it up, it's like $8 more a month. I'm like, why am I writing this on a list? Like $8 a month, that's like a cup of coffee from Starbucks right now. So I talked to my husband. I'm like, can we do this? And he's like, heck yeah. And with no additional income, with no additional changes, boom, done. Commercial-free Hulu, yay. It is just like such a small thing, but it makes me happy. Another thing that I put on my dream life budget was this is random, and I've talked about this before, but one of my kind of dreams is to always have fresh flowers in the house. To me, it just signals abundance, like that you're able to, do a huge grocery shopping haul. You get to the end of it and you're like, you know what? Flowers would be nice. And you just have the ability to not break the bank and have fresh flowers in your home. They make me happy seeing them in the kitchen. It just kind of makes my day, makes my week. And I'm like, you know what? I should be able to have this. That being said, we didn't, when you create the dream life budget, that doesn't mean there's automatically more money in the budget. And I didn't want to stretch our family financially. I didn't want to take money out of our grocery budget for flowers. That didn't make sense. So I just was acknowledged I would like to have fresh flowers in my life, but maybe not yet. Then literally 2 weeks later, I was on Facebook and a woman in my town has a garden and she sells fresh flower bouquets every week. You drive up to her house on Sunday morning. She has them out on a stand. It's a $10 donation, or you pay $10 and you get a bouquet of fresh flowers from my town and support a local woman. I was like, that is amazing. And $10, grocery store, $40 for flowers that are basically already dead versus these gorgeous flowers from a woman and they're very reasonably priced and they're beautiful and I love them and they make me happy. Boom, done. So for $40 a month, I'm able to achieve my fresh flower dream life budget item. And that was reasonable. That was a little life upgrade that I could do to start sort of leaning into that abundance mindset and realizing that I can live this abundant life. See, there's my fresh flowers, and really just incorporating those into my life, because every time I see those flowers, guess what? I'm thinking to myself, this is awesome. I'm able to have fresh flowers in my house. What am I going to be able to make happen next? And it's just inspiring. It keeps me going, keeps me positive, all the things. And I have beautiful flowers in my kitchen, so it makes me happy. All right. So if you were listening to this episode and you're like, well, shoot, I don't even know how much money we spend a month. I have no idea. You need a budget. And I have done episodes on this before. I will link them in the show notes. But honestly, I'm not the best resource for this because there are people whose sole purpose is to share with you how to create a budget. My resource recommendations would be Jesse Meacham's book. It's literally called You Need a Budget. You can get it from the library. Awesome read, very accessible, no jargon, no intimidation, just black and white. Here's how you do it. I also follow Lauren over on Lauren's Money and Mindset on Instagram and YouTube. She is fabulous, super inspiring. I love to see her behind the scenes process. So give her a follow if you are interested in kind of growing your understanding of all things personal finance. And also the book that got my husband and I on our personal finance journey is Dave Ramsey's book, The Total Money Makeover, which I would also highly recommend. And again, you can get that from your library at no cost, and see if that is a good resource for you. If you are already very involved in the personal finance world and you're like, yep, we've got a budget, we've got all the things. In addition to the Dream Life Budget exercise, you may want to look into, and Lauren actually provides this on her YouTube channel, but she gives a free net worth spreadsheet that she's created. It's very cool. So you can track your net worth each month and to see it go up. If you're like, what's net worth? I'll leave it to her to explain it to you, but it's very cool to see how your net worth changes every month. It's inspiring, helps keep my family on track, and really coincide like with the Dream Life budget. It all fits together very nicely, and helps you to kind of get to that Dream Life mindset and see how far off you are. It gives you a tool to really measure it, which I think is very cool. All right, Mama, thank you so much for being here. I threw a lot at you in today's episode. Pause and ask yourself what you need. If you need a budget, make that your first priority. If you're ready to create a Dream Life budget, go for it. Have fun with it. I'm super curious what you decide to include in it. If you want to include some ideas in the caption, I would love to hear them. I geek out about this stuff, so seriously, leave them in the caption for me. I'd love to brainstorm with you of some things that we could add to our Dream Life budget sheets. And if you're sort of cranking through all that and you want to check out Lauren's net worth spreadsheet, I highly recommend doing that as well. All right, Mama, thank you so much for being here. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.